Hello, what's good? How's it going? If you're used to watching my videos, this one's gonna be pretty irrelevant to you. I very much go through an entire interview with YCC, a South Korean company that teaches English. This position was for Seoul South Korea. If you watched my last video, you know that they did offer me this position and that I did decline it. Something I didn't say was that my application process, the interview process, and then giving me the position all took around 40 hours total. That's it. So within 2 days, I had applied, interviewed, and gotten a job. Crazy. I did decline it for a number of reasons, but we're not gonna get into that right now. I don't think I did super well in this interview for a number of reasons, but I guess it worked out. I thought I was a lot more enthusiastic than I was. I thought X, Y, and Z, but hey, you know, a job offer is a job offer. If you would have any big suggestions to help somebody else going through this process, please comment below so they don't have to make the same mistake twice that somebody else might have already made. Make sense? So let's do it. 12:59 a.m. They're gonna call me in 1 minute. Always remember to turn your phones on vibrate. Always put an earphone in with a microphone so there's no reverberation of sound and they can hear you clearly. I'm like really nervous. I'm confident, I'm qualified, I'm energetic, I'm somebody that you gotta get in that mindset, right? It's 1 a.m., she's gonna call any second. Wish me luck. Hi. It's going very well. How are you? Oh, I'm sorry. That's probably my fault. It is 1 in the morning. I am, and I'm really excited about it, yeah. It's a really good question, and one that I've been grappling with, I think, for a long time. 4 years ago is when I started working for housing and residence life at my university. And I had 5 international students from China that had a really hard time making good relationships with the students on their floor, with me. They were all in the intensive English program, so they were learning English, and you know, there was a big gap, right? And I got to know them really well through playing badminton with them, actually. One of my residents was walking down the hallway with a badminton racket, and I said, "That's a badminton racket." And he was like, "Yeah," because nobody in America plays badminton. And I was like, "Can I play?" And she was like, "Why would you want to play?" And I was like, "Because I think it's going to be fun. I don't know." And you know, I still play with them on the weekends 4 years later. And through that entire process, you know, we both taught each other a lot, like all of us have, but one of the biggest things was actually helping them with English. I helped them with their papers, I helped them with counting, like simple badminton counting, keeping score, everything from rules and all those other things. I've met people from the Philippines, from Japan, from Korea, from France, China, India, probably more places, and all of those times it's always been you know, really good relationships, and I've always been somebody that's been helping them with their English. Even when people go back to their home country, I had a really good friend, her name was Sunshine. She went back to China, and for years she would send me papers to proofread, and it was something that I just loved. So coming out of grad school, you know, I'm trying not to ignore the signs and saying, like, I've had great experiences with so many different cultures and so many different people that why not do that for a living? Yes, so my degree program was more focused on out of classroom than like in classroom curriculum, but we designed and implemented educational material covering like from your personal life to spiritual life to professional development, interpersonal communication, and everything in between. Our primary focus was supporting students going through the educational process, and challenging them and supporting them in whatever ways we could to help them be the most successful students that they were inside of the classroom and moving forward through graduation, if that makes sense. So yes and no. My master's, this was my master's program, and we were able to a lot of the research we did or the papers we wrote, we were able to pick our own. I did a lot of research on sexual violence and sexual violence prevention. I ended up talking to students about why they weren't reporting stalking crimes, and that was kind of my big research proposal and paper that I wrote. But I also did research on Hispanic and Latino women in the United States education system. I did research on all women's institutions. So my research and focus was pretty large, but most of the time it revolved around inequality and violence against women. I've met a number of, I have a number of friends from Korea, and all of them have really been pushing me to go and to apply. And that's been really helpful. I've even met some Asian Americans, Korean Americans, that still have cultural and familial ties, that are really supportive of me. And even so, this wasn't at the forefront of my mind, but like Korean pop music and Korean dramas and stuff like that. And yes, I love it and I love the culture, but people ask me why am I into that sort of thing, and I'm like, well, it's actually a lot more respectful than American pop culture is. In Korean pop music, they don't talk about drugs. They're not talking about all these really harmful activities that a lot of American music is promoting. And that sounds kind of weird, but when you do research on sexual violence, you kind of start to realize that drug use is bad. So I've resonated with a lot of Korean pop culture. I've had Korean food in the past. When you kind of compile a list, the list is pretty big. So I couldn't give you one good reason why I want to go. I can give you a lot of them though. Only from the limited research that I've done in the past couple of days. I know you are a huge corporation that's been around since the 70s or 60s, and the largest in Korea. And that's pretty much where I'm at. My experience is limited, mostly limited to family. I've spent the last number of summers up in Michigan, taking care of my two younger cousins that were later elementary school, and now they're in early middle school and early high school. So we've done everything from homework to regular everyday activities. That's a really good question. I'm glad you asked it, because I predominantly work with college students, almost exclusively over the past 4 years. But I see the strengths that early childhood education educators have. The charismatic, the positive outlooks, the resiliency, and the drive to understand, and the drive to really interact and build good relationships. I've got a really good close friend of mine, teaches first, second, and third graders in California. And he's one of the people that's like, oh no, you got it. You can totally do it. So I was a little nervous about teaching younger kids coming into it, but I've talked to multiple people, and they were like, you have the personality for it, you have the drive. If I can do it, you will be amazing at it. And so that encouragement, again, has been amazing. I wish I would have more experience. What I have had, I've enjoyed. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm a very animated person. I'm kind of like holding my hands down so I'm not waving them in front of the camera. But I love to be up, and I love to be active. And you're right. The drawing and the doing. That's something that I do with college students. I find that they really need an energetic and positive role model at the front of the class to actually be engaged. And I don't think that's a whole lot different with any type of student, whether you're 85 years old or 5. Somebody that's enthusiastic I think that's going to go a long way. And I believe that I'm enthusiastic enough, and I'm totally willing to teach kindergarten children. Absolutely. Yeah, academically speaking English, how are the students typically performing with the other English professors at your institution? Yeah, so for on a Monday, do your English teachers work from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m.? Are you talking about kindergarten or elementary school? The preference would be elementary school. Do I have a strong urging objection to work with kindergartners? No, but I would prefer elementary school. Yeah, so far. I am actively in communication with other schools. Yes. Thank you. Anything else? Okay. Have a good afternoon. Thank you. Talk to you soon. So in that last bit, she was really talking about how, when, she was like, you can start mid-June? I was like, yep, that's the earliest I can start. Granted, I haven't submitted any material. I haven't submitted background check stuff, visa stuff, nothing. And she's like, mid-June. Right now it's May 9th. Yeah. I think it went okay. She just wanted to know, do I have the capacity to educate children? That's what she wanted to know. So, yeah, and then I asked her, I was like, do your teachers teach from 9 to 7? You heard me say that, right? That means that they had teachers teaching. So 9:10 is when teachers would get there for 9:40 start classes, and they work till 2:30 in the afternoon. But after school programs every day of the week last until 7 on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and 5 o'clock on Tuesday, Thursday. And I asked the point, I was like, yeah, you heard me. I said it. We'll flash back right now. Let's go. Boom. Do your English teachers work from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m.? And we're back. I told you I said it. Why didn't you believe me? So, that's whatever. All right, that is it. You made it to the end. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll be posting again in a couple of days with some very different things. So look forward to that. I will see you soon. Woo!
Hi, you've reached Antony. Please leave a message after the beep. Thanks.